Hello there, Sarah from 17 once again, introducing you to my Uncharted 3 Crushing Difficulty video walkthrough. This is the 7th level of the game, and this is Stay in the Light. And as you can see, we're now surrounded by the scarab, spider, crazy bug things, and we have to stick as close to Sully and his torch as we can, as we try and get out of this crypt. So I'm not too sure exactly what the spiders are. I don't know what kind, or where they come from, or what the explanation behind them is, but they work in a pretty standard way. They'll come at you in a massive herd slash swarm of spiders, and if they touch you, you'll start taking damage. And the damage you take is like what you see on the screen now. It's just little increments of damage, and you'll gradually get more hurt, and then as your screen turns black and white, it means you're dying. And that is a bad thing. But luckily enough, there's a couple of scripted areas where you're kind of supposed to take damage, and it's not too bad. So just keep evading, keep doing your thing, and keep just following this lovely Crash Bandicoot inspired, run towards the camera style level. And it's not too difficult. Your only real threat is if you get cast off balance, or if you get caught on something, and then you'll get hurt a little bit more than you normally would. But they're designed in such a way that you can't make that many mistakes. Some of the later ones are much easier to make mistakes, but they'll just kill you and you'll just be back at a checkpoint maybe 30 seconds before. So it's nothing too game breaking or heartbreaking. But lovely little moment there of these two. And look at that Uzi, that micro Uzi that's sat in his holster. You would not put that in a holster. Look at it, it's hanging out like a penis. It just looks ridiculous. But once you finish, you can drop down here into the house, and we're going to be pushing through now and actually meeting up with some of the agents that the Order has sent to track us down. And I've not really spoken much about the Order in the game, and truth be told, they're not the most interesting of foundations. They date back to a couple centuries, and they've got roots in all sorts of different things. But the lead lady is clearly, if this becomes a film, going to be played by Helen Mirren, because she's just perfect for the role. But the thing that got me with the character on here is there's so much detail on the animation and on the faces on this game. When she talks, you can see the lines in her throat stretch. They go taut every so often, and it just looks amazing. They've done so much detail in these games. It's unbelievable. And she's got a sidekick who's kind of like the henchman called Talbot, who wears a lovely waistcoat and kicks your ass all the time. And Sully shoots him in the face. I don't know, I think it's the other guy that shoots him actually. This guy gets shot a whole bunch of times. He does a whole bunch of different magical things, and then at the end of the game it never really explains why he's such a psychopath slash magician. So if anybody knows, feel free to drop a comment who's got the storyline of the Uncharted underfoot, because I really didn't understand why he was such a badass. And then later on in the game you get to shoot him again, and this time it works. I wasn't too sure, but this is when they've reared their heads, so this is when you have to actually be careful, because people are going to shoot you. And this is weird, because as soon as you hit this beam, these guys are going to spawn and shoot you. Sully will take them out for you, but you want to get to this piece and aim over cover with your gun. And then once you've done that, you should be safe to mantle over and get to the next platform. But this section's kind of weird, because what's going to be happening is stuff like this. You get attacked by that guy and his buddy's going to hit you, so you need to counter his buddy before he does any real damage. And then be careful of his buddy trying to shoot you, because if he gets too far away he will shoot. But a good technique when you're fighting, if you don't want to fight, is as soon as you finish your animation, hold the left trigger and aim at them and shoot them. It'll end a lot of fights really quickly, especially against the brutes, the big guys. You can end those fights much quicker if you shoot them. Occasionally though, you don't get the option to do it, so just be aware of that and act accordingly. But this is pretty bad. Two guys above you right now. You don't want to get in the spot I'm in. You want to preferably use cover and take them out. There's two guys to my right, so try and get into cover as quick as you can. They're shooting from where I just was. Sorry, is probably better English. So if you peek around here, you should see them. There they are. Just pop them from a distance. A good technique as well, as you've just seen then, if you see anybody fiddling with grenades, and you will see a lot of people do this, if you shoot them they'll drop it and it'll blow themselves up and it'll blow anybody up around them. You want to use this to your advantage. Secondly to that as well, if you see anybody throw a grenade at you, if you're confident in your ability to toss it back, which sometimes can be a bit of a pain in the arse, you want to try and do that, because that will help as well. So right there is a mistake I made. You should always sit against this piece of cover for when that guy turns up, because I don't know how I didn't die. I was too busy trying to remember what the hell happened next, and he got me off guard. So just be aware he busts through the door and that he will try and kill you with pretty good efficiency. But once again, never trust the floors in Uncharted. They have a habit of falling underneath you. You kind of split up from Sully now, so you have to move up this beam. And watch this, as you move up this beam, the wood below it actually starts to burn. Look at the cinders. This game is beautiful. My goodness. It's a fantastic reason to buy a PS3, and pretty much the only one. But keep on bumping up on here on the cover. Keep doing the mantle, keep doing the lovely animations and what have you. And I was watching the featurettes that you get when you unlock, I don't know if you have to unlock them, but they're in the gallery on the game, and you can watch basically, there's a sequence of 4 or 5 videos that are the making ofs, and it shows you some of the people behind the game. And it seems like such a good company, such a like a cavalier attitude towards making games, and yet they somehow make these fantastic things. And there's a lot of English dudes as well that work there, which is kind of cool. And this is the heavy of this area. The first thing you'll notice is I tried to shoot him at first, and if you shoot him, you'll kill him much quicker. So did you notice that I was only fighting him for about 4 or 5 punches? That's what shooting does. You want to always try and shoot them if you can, because it makes it much quicker. And be careful on this section, because this one gets a little interesting. It can be hard to see where the enemies are coming from. You'll notice just then I tried to throw a grenade down the stairs and I failed. The reason I'm doing this is a guy's going to spawn directly across from me on the opposite balcony, and there's a bunch of people on the bottom doorway. And as soon as you kill the guys down there, the guy on the balcony turns up. There he is, just over there. And don't ask me how I'm still alive. I should have really taken cover at the side of the stairways and dealt with him, but I got lucky, and a lot of it is luck, so just be careful of that dude, because he killed me a couple times. And yeah, kinda sucks. But once you've done that, you just have to move up the beam, follow Sully, and continue getting out of this chateau. Which is a ridiculous word to spell, I found. There's just a couple of words, well I said there's a lot of words in the English language where you look at them or you say them and you write them down and you're like, that cannot be right, that is not how you spell that. And lo and behold it is, it's just at the time you were having like a little bit of Alzheimer's or something and you just couldn't quite place it. But here's another heavily scripted sequence where you're going to be climbing up the banister until Drake decides to climb over it, and then you'll be following Sully, and then the stairs are going to fall and all hell's going to break loose. And it's just fantastic, it's just crazy, it's just cinematic, it's everything you could want from this kind of game. And this is a pain in the ass, this bit, because you've got to kill 2 people very quickly. And I get lucky there because that second guy doesn't want to shoot me, but when I played on hard, I died so fast on that section, it was unbelievable. And there's a bit coming up at the end of the game as well, where you jump over a wall, and as soon as the game gives you control, you instantly die. And the checkpoint spawns you almost an inch away from the cover, because it's like they knew that this was going to happen. And it made it really difficult to edit, which is a pain in the ass. A real pain in the ass. And it's kind of funny really how I complain about games with long loading screens and games that, you know, keep you out of the action when all you want to do is get back in and restart that checkpoint and see if you can beat it. Well, this game lets you go back in really quickly, and it turns out it's a good and a bad thing, because it makes it really hard to edit because everything loads so damn fast. And it also makes it hard to edit because of the checkpoint system of this game. There's going to be some parts where I'm just going to have to drop a crossfade because there was no way I could associate before I died to after I died. So it's going to make it really obvious in the areas that I died. So I don't know how that's going to go down with the people that like to watch. At the end of the day, if you think I do the guides without dying, it's just not the case. I just edit the deaths out so it's a more streamlined experience for people needing help. And here we are anyhow, trying to get out of the chateau once again. Take cover against the bathtub when it falls. It's the only piece of cover you can against these 2 guys. They're not the most aggressive though, as you can tell. That guy couldn't quite figure out how to work a door jam, and I took advantage of his idiocracy. But also be careful of the cover here, because it will get shot through, it will deteriorate when people fire at it. The only good piece of cover is that metal box to my right, and the sooner I get behind that the better. But I didn't even realise that this shit was burning until when I looked back to be in cover, I wasn't in cover. And that brings me to an interesting little segue while we do this little shootout. Later on in the game you will take on environments where the cover is moving. And that might surprise you, but if you played Gears of War 2 you'll know that cover can move and it can be a pain in the ass. Well, on this game, cover moves laterally. It moves left and right. It's a nuisance. And when it moves, you leave cover, so you're no longer in cover. And there's about 2 sections of the game that it makes really challenging for no reason. And you'll die a lot until you get used to the bullshit that is the moving cover, cause I do believe a lot of these gameplay mechanics are a fantastic idea and they're a lot of fun until you put it on the harder difficulties. There's literally some parts of this game that it makes me wonder why they detailed and made such a lavish environment to fight in when you're playing on hard or crushing, you're only going to sit behind the very first piece of cover that you find, and you're not going to move, because if you move, you're going to die. So this entire arena goes to waste because I'm cowering behind a box, praying for anything else but death. And it's just an interesting thing, but all you have to do now is climb up this ladder, and then we're going to do another run towards the camera cinematic moment of going across the rooftops. And it's just fun, man. And I know you're not doing a lot. You're effectively holding an analog and pressing X, and it's not the most thought-provoking, but boy does it look good. And, you know, you keep feeding me that candy, and I just keep coming back for more. And that's what this game is. It's just a sequence of just lovely, tasty moments. But that's the end of the 7th level, people, so thanks for watching. I hope it helped, and you take care now.